I'm Mary Lehoczky, and I'm currently serving as clerk of the session. Earlier in this chapter, the prophet Amos had criticized his listeners because they abhorred truth-tellers and trampled and overtaxed the poor. In today's passage, he warns we are not ready for God's day, even though we glorify God with ceremonies and singing, with offerings and animals. But Amos says this is not what God desires. In beautifully poetic language and visual language, Amos tells us God wants justice to roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Today's passage reminds me of the time when I was scurrying to get ready for company, and my kind husband did some task he assumed would be helpful. He thought I'd be pleased and was disappointed when I was not. I tried to explain, saying that if only he had checked with me beforehand, but that what he had done was not helpful and that it didn't need to be done before the company arrived. I wonder if this is sort of what Amos is saying, that we need to switch our focus from what we want to offer God to what God wants from us. And what does God want? Amos says God wants justice and righteousness for God's people, especially those living on the outside of the city gates or those on the margins of society, all those whose lives are made hard by injustice. What matters to God is the well-being of all. We're in Advent. It's a time when we remember Jesus' birth and ponder how we can bring forth the holy in our lives and in our world. May we be mindful of Amos's words, remembering that what most pleases God is not fancy celebrations, but rather that we strive always, like an ever-flowing stream, for what is just and moral for all God's people.